I met my husband in 2012 during the LGBTQ Pride Parade in Washington, D.C. It was my first time, marching in any sort of a Pride Parade. I was deeply closeted when I moved from the US, from India to the US. But, when I moved to the US, I promised myself I'm going to stop living that, the closeted life. I'm going to be as honest to myself as possible. While the parade was, moving forward, I saw this one gentleman who was wearing this very cute white t-shirt with the word Desi on it and gray shorts. And, he was marching, holding a big, pride flag. And I'm like, who is this guy? It was Parag, obviously. So he came very close to me. He came close to me and, we danced for, I think, for maybe 5 seconds or 10 seconds. And, I screamed, "Oi, Desi," and he just came, danced with me. And it was so cool.
Yeah, so that was the beginning of our love story.
Hi, my name is Abhay. I was born and brought up in Delhi. I have been in Hyderabad since 2009.
My name is Supriyo and I'm an event planner.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ಉಮಾ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನಾನು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಜೆಂಡರ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಸ್ಟ್.
I'm Parag Mehta. I grew up in the United States. My parents immigrated from Gujarat in 1972 and I was born and raised here in the US.
Hi, my name is Vaibhav Jain. I grew up in New Delhi, India.
I decided to go for marriage with a cis man. I did so. Whether marriage institution is violent or not, that's another subject. I respect my identity. I feel, I proud my identity, and today I'm a woman. I should be having my right to go for marriage.
ಏನು ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಪೆಟಿಷನ್ನ ಫೈಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಿಂದ ನಾನು ಮತ್ತು ಅಕ್ಕೈ ಪದ್ಮಶಾಲಿ. ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಯಾಕೆ ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನು ಫೈಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಯಿತು ಅಥವಾ ಯಾಕೆ ಇದು ನಮಗೆ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇತ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ ಅನ್ನೋ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗೆ ಉತ್ತರಗಳು ಸುಮಾರು ವಿಚಾರಗಳಿದ್ದಾವೆ. ಒಂದು ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ನಾನೊಂದು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ಮಹಿಳೆಯಾಗಿ ನನಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಸುಮಾರು ಆಸೆಗಳಿದ್ದಾವೆ, ಆಕಾಂಕ್ಷೆಗಳಿದ್ದಾವೆ. ಮತ್ತು ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನನ್ನನ್ನು ನಾನು ಗುರುತಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಮೇಲೆ ನನ್ನ ಹೆಣ್ತನನ ನಾನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಅಂಥದ್ದು ಅಥವಾ ನನ್ನ ಹೆಣ್ತನನ ಅನುಭವಿಸೋ ಅಂಥದ್ದು ನನಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅಂತ ನನಗೆ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತು. ಹಾಗೇ ಈ ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಹಕ್ಕು. ಹಾಗೇ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಂಥ ಅಂದರೆ ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಹಕ್ಕು ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರ ಮನುಷ್ಯರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಇರಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಅದರಿಂದ ನನ್ನ ಹಕ್ಕನ್ನು ನಾನು ಇವತ್ತು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ.
So we've been together for over a decade now. We got married legally in 2017, and then we had a big fat Indian wedding in 2019 with all of our friends and family. And we were so fortunate to be able to go to Delhi 6 months later and have a big wedding celebration there. And it was during that celebration that we started talking with LGBT advocates and lawyers and realized that the rights that we enjoyed in the United States as a married couple were non-existent in India.
We met in 2012. So it's through a dating site. There was a ping from Abhay one fine afternoon, and the next day we have decided to meet. And we just thought of like a meeting for an hour, and that meeting went for 7 hours.
We were just discussing about life, about what we want in each other as a partner. And, we really connected. We really realized that, yes, we have very similar outlook in life and we would be compatible with each other. So that's the moment we decided that yes, we want to take this forward.
Abhay told me on that day that, Supriyo, I liked you, but I have 3 conditions, right? The first condition was he asked me to come out to my family, because back then my family wasn't aware about my orientation. Second, he said that I need to introduce him to my parents. And the third one, that he said that I need to visit Delhi, I need to meet his parents, and they are supposed to like me. And the first moment I was a little shocked, but eventually I really liked that part, because when somebody says something like this, it means the person is serious. And most importantly, I felt included in the society, because if you see any heterosexual couple in that matter, they that's always the first step, right? Meeting the parents, and parents supposed to like you.
So we had always decided that we want to get married, right, at some point in time. The way things happened in COVID is that we realized that life is so fragile. We both ourselves got COVID, and his fever was very high. We even had to go to the ER. And you realize that in that moment that life is so fragile, that there is no certainty in life, that you can't really predict what's going to happen in the next very instant. And knowing that we, in the eyes of the law, are strangers, knowing that we don't have rights over each other, knowing that if something were to happen to me, he has no right, or vice versa. So that made us realize that no, we have to kind of push for the change now. And that's what accelerated us to both get married, as well as start discussing about legal options for marriage equality.
ಇತ್ತೀಚೆಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಜನ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಜೆಂಡರ್ಸು ಸೂಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕಾರಣ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ, ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ ಜೊತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಜೀವನ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವರ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿಯವರು ಒಪ್ಕೊಂಡಿರಲ್ಲ, ಮತ್ತು ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸುಮಾರು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ದಿನ ಎಷ್ಟು ದಿನ ಬೇಕು ಅಷ್ಟು ದಿನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಮೋಸ ಮಾಡೋವಂಥದ್ದು, ಮತ್ತು ಡೊಮೆಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ವೈಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋವಂಥದ್ದು, ಹೀಗೆ ಹಲವಾರು ವಿಚಾರಗಳು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಆದರೆ ಈ ಸೂಸೈಡ್ನ ನಾವು ನೋಡುವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನ್ಯಾಯಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನಾವು ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದು ನಾವು ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಡೊಮೆಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ಬೋದಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ವುಮೆನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂಥ ದೌರ್ಜನ್ಯ ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಕೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಮಹತ್ವ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ ಆ ವಿಷಯ.
The provisions under Special Marriages Act has been given to certain section of people, especially from intercaste, interreligion. I think that's a privilege that we are enjoying. I think under that act, my marriage was, brought under the law, where my advocate Jaina Kothari, who has, stood with this whole process. After my marriage, almost 30 marriages have taken place as a registered marriage. I think it's a sign of good move. You get it? I think for me this institution of marriage is to bring up your diversity of existence of identities within this larger frame of society. Saying that, see here, we can also marry, we can also lead a life. And now the social construct which was assuming that we're only for sex work and begging is slowly eradicating, and they're saying yes, their lives also matter.
There are several cases that have been making their way through the court systems in India. Ours was at the Delhi High Court for nearly 2 years, and now the Supreme Court has decided to consolidate all these cases. Some of the cases are focused on the Special Marriage Act or the Hindu Marriage Act. Ours is a little bit unique in that the Foreign Marriage Act, which was passed over 50 years ago by India, allows for people like my parents, like Vaibhav, who travel abroad for work or for study and get married while they're in another country, to have that marriage recognized in India. As we like to say, a marriage in New York should be a marriage in New Delhi. The problem is that when we got married under US law, as was our right, and then we went to the Indian consulate in New York City to register that marriage, we were denied. And when we asked why we were denied, the consular general was pretty direct about it. He was denying us because we are a same-sex couple. That is a violation of India's constitution.
When I came out to my parents, it was very, very difficult for them. And my mom and dad initially just understood, they wanted to, handle the situation. They were very supportive. But over time, they were very, very upset. My mother was catatonic. She was like, why can't you just get married to a girl and, it'll solve everything? And I said, Mom, aren't we cheating the other person if we do that? And what really finally helped my mom was when my sister-in-law talked to her. My sister-in-law said that, Mummy, imagine if you and I were in that place. If we were forced to get married to a man who was gay or who was, not heterosexual. Imagine how we would feel as women. Imagine how hurt we would be, how difficult it would be. And, in our society, women are definitely, not treated, the way men are treated. So if we will always be at a disadvantage, and these things, actions like these would just further, make our situations more disadvantageous and, further hurt us. So why do that?
ಒಂದು ಸುಮಾರು ಜನ ಇವಾಗ ಏನು ಅವ್ರ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟೇಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವರು ಗಂಡಾಗಿ ಹುಟ್ಟಿ ಹೆಣ್ಣಾಗಿರೋ ಅಂಥವ್ರು ನಾನು ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಅಂತಲೇ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ನ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆ ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಅಂತ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿರೋಂಥ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೆಲವರು ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಆಫೀಸಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್ನ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ನಾವು ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಟು ಮೇಲ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಸನ್ಸನ್ನು ನಾವು ನೋಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಮೇಲು ಅಂಥೇಳಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ಸು ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದರಿಂದ ತೊಗೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟ್ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದಂಥ ಒಂದು ಪಾತ್ರ ವಹಿಸಿದೆ ಇವಾಗಿನ ಸಿಚುವೇಷನಲ್ಲಿ. ಆದರೆ ಆ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮದುವೆ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಆದರೆ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಜನ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿಯವರು ಅಥವಾ ನಮಗೆ ಆಗದೇ ಇರೋವಂಥವ್ರು ಅಥವಾ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಸಂಬಂಧ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋವಂಥದ್ದು ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋವಂಥವ್ರು ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ಸಾಗಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಚಾಲೆಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಅದು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋಂಥ ವಿಚಾರ. ಯಾಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಕಾನೂನಾತ್ಮಕವಾಗಿ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಜೆಂಡರ್ಸ್ ಮದುವೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇಲ್ಲ.
So as Vaibhav and I are now preparing to become dads, we're expecting our first child next month, our second one a couple months later. We've really been thinking a lot about what does it look like for us when we go to India, when we visit our family there, when we potentially settle there with our kids. And so to me, this case that we're fighting is not just about us. It's about our children. It's about millions of other LGBTQ people across the country who want the same things that everybody wants: the right to love, to be happy, and to be in a family.